All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Robin Live. Hey Chris, our friend here from Falls Count Anywhere is with us, which will be
Hey,
live
Chris.
on Saturday. Back again. Um, so yeah, it's Robin Live, of course, as you know, and I wasn't even sure if we were going to do anything today.
Yeah,
Um, and because yesterday was weird. We knew we were going to do a show, and I think we announced it last night. Now, knowing, we all Kim's here with us too. Hey,
hi,
Kim.
Kim.
You know, we're all it's Monday Night Football, right? For me and most of you out there probably you watch it no matter who's playing. But as we were watching, as everyone knows by now, of course, everyone, uh, Damar Hamlin, sixth round pick from the University of Pittsburgh, he ends up with a going into cardiac arrest right on the field. They revived him on the field, according to the Buffalo Bills, after their statement that they gave. Although Damar's, I guess, would have been his marketing agent, a marketing agent, I guess you'd call him, and good friend, was putting out some stuff on Twitter earlier in the evening after Damar got to the hospital, where he gave out a lot of information. The family was with him and all of that. So what it took. I think he was on the field for 9 minutes
Yeah.
as he was being revived. Horrible scene. I mean, we've seen some scenes in the past of things, but nothing like this. I mean, even
Oh.
Clint Malarchuk, I mean, obviously was disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for those that were in the arena that night, very disturbing, I'm sure.
Right.
But again, not on the huge stage like Monday Night Football. Rich Peverly, which I remember now when he collapsed in Detroit, Joe Louis Arena. I think he was playing for Dallas at the time, not positive, or Atlanta Thrashers, but he had a heart attack on the and had to be revived. But he was on
Yes.
the bench. It did not happen. Not that it matters, but it didn't happen like on the ice. You know what I mean?
Right.
It did happen on the bench though.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and they showed the video where you see him fall slump. Oh, he falls over on the bench.
Right.
Um, that was a heart attack. This here, according to every doctor I watched a little bit today before we went on, um, said it came from obviously it was like it was such a freak kind of thing because it was perfect time,
Right.
perfect rhythm of your heart, perfect, hit, of course, playing football, the helmet. You know what I mean? It had to be all at a perfect time for that to happen.
Right.
According to heart doctors, I heard on
Mm-hmm.
different things like CBS Morning News and all that. Um, ESPN Ryan Clark, who had his own issue where he almost lost his life on the field playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was if you get a chance to, I was going to put him on, I was going to play it, but I figured it was going to be too long. It was almost 5, 6 minutes worth of him.
Yeah. It is worth listening
Yeah,
to.
because he's telling you about, he talks about, um, the perspective of it all, of just being football, you know. So when your fantasy player doesn't do well and you want to call him worthless, that kind of stuff, and it all obviously, um, it was he was out. He was really good, and there was a few others too, but he was something else because he was on right after the broadcast, probably right at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Because
Right.
as you recall, I mean, it went from 8:55. He collapses at 8:55, right? And it was like almost 20 minutes
Yeah. Oh
before
yeah.
he's gone, on the in the ambulance. So at currently, what we do know currently, from what I have understand, someone out there may know more because of course I can't look right now. I wanted you to look at
Oh
something if you
yeah.
get a chance. Is that he's must be in an induced coma? I'm guessing is what you'd call it.
Yes.
Um, as they try to figure out what the damage is
Right.
to him, and hopefully none. Obviously, hopefully he'll be back to a normal life and continue the good works he does. Good kid too. You saw that through his charitable thing because he's from like McKeesport, I think, Pennsylvania, and he does a lot of good like with kids and everything else and trying to help give back. So he was he is a great, great guy, great young man, 24 years old. Couldn't be couldn't be sad. Never seen anything like it. I got to tell you, I was shook. I was really shook up. Is there any word on that game?
Uh, it won't resume this week, and there's no changes to the Week 18
Oh,
schedule.
okay, so that's football related.
Right.
Football. Can you hand me one of those?
Yes.
Football related. If anyone even cares at this point, which I don't know if many people. I don't know if many people really even care. But whatever. That game, if it's needed, they'll play it somewhere down the road. Who cares? Because when you think about it, the NFL can do a lot of things. With scheduling, who's going to say no if they're going to play that game 2 weeks from now? You get what I mean?
Right.
They'll be able to play it, and they'll have a stadium filled, and they'll have advertising.
Right.
They're fine. Everyone's fine with that. But I know, Robin, watching it, we've watched so many. Like I said, I watched Tampa play. We will watch Jacksonville play Houston on any given Monday night.
Yeah.
Right? No, seriously, I've watched Monday Night Football since I was since I was 7 years old. I can't even.
Yeah.
1978. But always watch it. Always. Last night was something else that I've never felt that shook up.
Yeah.
How did you feel watching it?
At first, I couldn't believe that it was as serious as it seemed, just because it was so unprecedented that it was almost like it was a delayed reaction for me. It like took a couple minutes.
Right.
And then I mean then it was just unspeakable. I mean,
you knew something was wrong.
You knew something, yeah, you knew something
Mhm.
wasn't going well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, somebody broke their leg, and not to minimize those injuries, but you knew it was life threatening type stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're not used to dealing with that.
Well, no one's prepared for that, right?
Yeah.
You're there for entertainment. It's the same story every game day, situation. There's a game. It's a game. It's
Right.
entertainment for you. You're gonna go watch it. You play the role. It's almost like when you watch, people that watch professional wrestling. You go there because you want to be entertained.
Right.
So you're in the role. It's
Right.
kind of weird, but you are. You're in your role, and it's the same for football. You're in the role of watching the game.
Right.
For that 3 hours, whatever it is, you're going to concentrate on the game. Hopefully you can. You don't have any your own outside stuff happen. And I remember when Utley for the Lions, he did the thumbs up thing, but he was paralyzed on the field.
Right.
He didn't get up. He never gets up. He doesn't, like Shazier ends up walking again. That guy doesn't. Could have even been on Thanksgiving, but I don't think so. But I feel like they're playing the Bears because I remember watching the game. This was back in the 80s, I believe. Anyways, he's paralyzed on the field. Horrible, horrible situation. But he gives you a thumbs up. He's alive. There was a moment there where people didn't know because he didn't move. He couldn't move.
Right.
But it was different because you didn't have the same. There was something different about last night, right? When you looked at the players on both teams.
Yes.
Their both reactions of how you would react in your workplace or you would react in your supermarkets or your wherever.
Right.
If you happen to witness something like that, let alone that it's your friend.
Right.
So, yeah, it was really. Hold on, let's get some more. We got some quotes here, some comments. I'm sorry. Jerry says, "Hi guys, terrible thing last night." Kim says he's more important right now than any football game. Bill is with us. Hi, Bill. He says, "Hi, prayers for Damar Hamlin." Puts the game into perspective. Humanity over the game or playoff implications. Oh, sure. There was a great quote that Colin Cowherd said.
Yeah.
And it was love. What was it? Love your life as you love your sport. Much as you love your sports.
Love your life like your sports.
That's right. Love your life like your sports. And that was really a good quote. But he's said that in the past before this incident. But it all makes sense now, doesn't it? I mean, how important really is this stuff? And you heard Ryan Clark last night talk about it.
Yeah.
The NFL, by the way, the NFLPA, I believe, and I put something out on Facebook that I was wrong. completely wrong, and not just me, others about cancel the game, cancel the game, cancel the game. Well, they were doing that. It was happening.
Right.
We just obviously it's you got to remember that that never happened before
Right.
ever. The one doctor I saw today, who used to be the doctor um, for the Indianapolis Colts, said that they prepare for this in the preseason. Like they
Yes.
actually have drills, like, but you just don't expect it to happen.
Right.
Yes, Hank Gathers and Reggie Lewis. Oh boy, I remember Hank Gathers in that. I was at Loyola Marymount. Boy, that was. I remember that. I believe he collapsed right at the foul line. Jesus, yes, that's right. And Reggie Lewis. Reggie Lewis for the Boston Celtics. Len Bias died in a different way. But yeah, Reggie Lewis too played for Northeastern. Reggie Lewis played here against Niagara, twice a year. That was from Nate. Yeah, right. Definitely. Scott says, I was at a live local wrestling event and a wrestler got hurt. It was super silent and weird, so I can't imagine how it was last night. And Scott, you brought it up too, and then you did too about that time on WWE when Jerry Lawler was
Yes.
in the ring. Older guy, though, of course, but in the
Hmm.
ring, got hit or whatever happened in there,
Yeah.
and then goes to the announce table and has a heart attack live on TV.
Yeah.
Similar to what happened last night. The only difference was for last night was more of the publicity of it because I mean it's on the field,
Right.
and, the players do what they do to try to have some, and then you think of the mother and everybody else and all the people and all that, and it's unbelievable. Um, un-
And I got to tell you, I mean, this morning I woke up and I had terrible anxiety, and I don't know if it had anything to do with it.
I think I think you might have. I read something on Twitter from
Yeah.
there was a lot of doctors chiming in, and a doctor had said, don't be. It was just pretty much. It was last night. It was from the night. It was from the night. Don't be surprised, and don't be. Talk about the situation that you saw because you just saw what you saw. I mean, you can't unsee it.
Right.
And it's just a just a terrible situation that it seems like. But one good thing, that he will. Oh, that's right, Owen Hart.
Yes, and Scott, I was watching
He
that
was.
too,
Did you see it? Yes,
and if
I
you
was not.
remember,
I
if you
didn't see it.
remember, because at the time, Owen Hart was in his character as
The
the
Blue
Blue
Blazer,
Blazer,
right?
and you catch like on live TV, and they cut it out in later feeds, but when you're watching it live, you catch like
Falling,
a
right?
flash of blue
Falling,
falling.
and they kept going.
And yeah, they panned away and went backstage while they tended to him, but they continued the event.
Yeah, that is because I'm going to tell you, there is no one that has any. They're not prepared for that kind. They are, thank God. They get out there with the defibrillators. They get out there. They have the means,
Right.
and thankfully they have everybody there. You will have, um, oh yes, the Kevin Everett game, so tragic as well in 2007. Yes, I forgot about that, John. Right. There's so that. Geez, I don't know if it was just because of the venue. Maybe that's because Rich Peverly collapses and his heart stops on the bench
Hmm.
at Joe Louis Arena. Um, like Hank Gathers, Loyola Marymount, that happened on the court. Now, but it must be that it was just the stage of Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Like there's only a few other things that are bigger than Monday Night Football. Seriously,
Yeah.
in America or in North America, it's
Hmm.
one of the few. It's still a big deal. Monday Night Football.
Sure.
All eyes are on it, and then of course the
And
magnitude of the game and
I was
how
just gonna say, I mean,
everyone's
none of
interested.
it matters now, but
Right,
going into the game, all you could think
huge,
about was Bills Bengals, number
fun,
one
going to be
seed.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's all fun, and that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Right.
And
And then, well, that's why, and people don't understand this. And, there
we all don't. Yeah,
people, there's people who don't like me because I don't like the Bills, but sports isn't real life. Like it changes in a second
and then you see.
when it goes to something like what we saw last night. And, and then it's not about a team or It's not even about the sport. It's not even about being a football fan. I would feel that way if the, the person behind the register at Burger King who I bought my
Yeah,
coffee from,
yeah, fell down and yeah, and it collapsed in front of you.
yeah,
No, that's the
it's
thing.
just
It's
that we're
humanity.
experiencing it collectively because so many of us saw it.
Yeah, it's humanity. Well, that's like me. Rich Peverly wasn't seen. Clint Malarchuk was seen, but you had to be in the arena different times too. You know what I mean? Kind of different times.
Yeah,
Now everything is everywhere at all times. You're up to the minute,
right.
at everything. I I'm glad though, for Damar's sake that he's in a great hospital from the understanding there at the
Yes,
University of Cincinnati, and obviously uh, will have you know, great care. And as far as fans go, fans are humans, so I'm not surprised at the reaction of human beings.
right,
I'm happy to see that the fans of not just fans, humans had reacted the way they reacted.
right.
That's wonderful. And I got to tell you, I how quiet was that stadium
Oh my God.
when you had people in there. Think about how wild. And John's here, so he's went to games for 100 years. Think about this. How wild people are.
Yeah,
Even if you aren't drunk, you're still all fired up. It's a rush, right?
sure.
You get 70,000, 80,000, 60,000. God, some places 100,000. You got that music play. Everyone's screaming. You could probably feel it in your chest, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, that's right. More team doctors now than uh, than before, than just one. Cincinnati's a great, but yeah, for hospitals and medical care. But I mean, you get that rush. So even if you're not drunk and screwed up, as
Right.
some idiots are when they go, so you're there, you're ready, and then all of a sudden that just went to nothing because that play happens. The game's going on,
Right.
cheering and wow, and I was actually kind of this is ridiculous, but I was actually happy for humans in a way, for people,
Yeah.
that there was no stupidity of any sort.
Right.
There really wasn't.
No.
It was very, even those that I think got misunderstood online. Like now, when I reread Skip Bayless, it is a little bit misunderstood. I don't think he meant the way it came out. I think what he was trying to say is the NFL don't care
Right.
about. That's what he was trying to say, because at the end he does say,
Right.
what he says. I think his point was the NFL doesn't really care, and a lot of players go, "Oh, you heard Booker McFarland say it.
Yeah.
Listen to what he said there." While everything was still going on, I mean, they kept breaking away, and
Yes.
going back, and they still had Damar Hamlin on, not even out of the stadium yet,
Right.
and he said what he said there, and about how he felt
Right.
about
Yeah.
the NFL and then the NFLPA. Um, the NFLPA, though, and the NFL, I think handled it right. I think they handled it better than we, the fans, or could have realized.
Right.
The two coaches did what they had. There was no way that game. I mean, not that I know, and I know nothing. I was texting with our son, and it was about. It had to be not even 5 minutes into what just happened there. And I said this. I said to him, "The game's done. There's no way they can play."
Right.
Only because I saw one of the Bills players, who I'm not quite sure who it was, turn around, had his hands above his head, and you could see his face. You could just tell he didn't want to see what he just saw. That type of thing. I can't even process what I'm seeing.
Right.
So game over. There was no chance. And the NFL is saying they did not tell them to warm up and get ready in 5 minutes.
Right. And I
So,
think it was admitted that that was a misunderstanding, that a sideline reporter saw Joe Burrow just tossing the ball around and
well, hell,
assumed.
you saw Stefon Diggs try to rally the team around.
Right.
They showed us both of that. I mean, that's because they don't know what's next.
Right.
And it's just, and these guys are programmed to do what they do.
Sure.
Um,
Probably in a lot of ways it would have been more comfortable to just keep playing because you just don't feel what you're feeling. You just go out there and put your energy into the game.
John, you said Matt Milano. Is there a number 78 on the Bills, or is that number retired?
That was Bruce Smith's number.
That's what I thought. Is it retired? Because I swear I thought I saw number 78 in a Bills uniform last night. Maybe I just is a weird number. Big tall, must be offensive lineman. I don't. But yeah, it must have been Milano then. I mean, you could just see as he turns around, it's just not cool. It's not what our normal situation is. Guy down. Sadly, retired. Okay, thanks, John. Sadly, the we're used to this is disgusting. We're used to neck injuries and
Yeah,
spinal injuries in football.
and head injuries.
Right, we're used to it all.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about the league. I'm talking about everyone, not just fans and everything. But they're going to. I guess that's the difference. It was life and death right there.
right,
And so far, I think the longer it goes, the better for him.
right.
Because I think and I'll think about the incredible care he's under and the incredible physical shape he's in.
Yeah, I heard
So
a doctor, you were listening with me, say that the next 12 to 24 hours is going to be
right,
real important as they slowly take him off the breathing
right.
machines to see if his body can
Oh, his
breathe for
brain, right?
itself.
Yeah. Let's hope the kid, like I said, University of Pittsburgh, sixth round draft pick. Geez, only 24 years old and whatever with football, I guess. But
Yeah,
did nice things though. His that foundation and everyone around the country, around the world, is donating to it for kids. That's cool. It's almost
yes.
up to like $3 million or something.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Um, uh, like I don't even want to call it fans of any team anymore at this point
No,
because it feels
see,
like it's fans of. It isn't even. It's just like that's why I kind of say it's like people just being good, just
that's the thing.
being good
I
people
think,
all over the place.
yeah.
I saw on Sky Sports it was in London. He's in stable condition. Last report.
Oh,
Thanks.
that's an
That's
improvement.
good
That's
news.
good.
That's better
Yeah.
than critical.
Yeah,
That's
that's
very
really
good.
good. Thank you, John.
That's very good news to hear. Um, what I'm saying is, it was even in London. I saw a thing. I mean, that's what I mean. It's people realizing, and I'm kind of glad to see it. Like, not that I didn't think I'd see it, but it makes me think that maybe people aren't as foolish as I expected.
Yeah.
Like, um, at no point did I even think, um, did I even think about the game? Honestly, I got to tell you, and I think about that stuff often, especially with the sports show, and then just as much as we follow it.
Sure.
At no point was I even me, and I'm a sport. That's what goes through my head a lot more. Sports goes through my head more than most things. If
Yeah.
I'm just sitting around, you get
Right.
my point. That's
Yeah.
what that I'm thinking of all that. I'm not
Right.
thinking of
Yeah.
politics. I'm not thinking that I end up being pushed into. Sports
Right.
is
It's
what's
not my name in the margins of the paper, it's the lines of the Maple Leafs.
right, and so that's what's all in there. And I didn't think of it at all last night. That's why last night was so different to
Mhm.
me and to everyone, I'm sure, that
You
it just
know,
didn't feel right.
I gotta say, my opinion of Diggs really improved last night. Um, to me, he would, and this is obviously a NFL persona,
Yeah.
eh, you know, typical wide receiver, crybaby kind. That was what I thought of him. And last night, I mean, you saw when they showed the Bengals players go into the Bills locker room, he was already showered, and the reason why was because he took an Uber and went to the hospital and begged the security guards to let
Yeah,
him.
that one reporter had a vouch for him to let him in.
Yeah,
So no, it was
and I think that was actually
kind of feel
genuine.
bad for T. Higgins too a little bit
Oh, I
today.
feel very bad for him.
Considering he was the one involved in the play.
Hmm.
Um, football's violent. I mean, it's so violent, and because even that play itself, I mean, we're used to, I watched so many bowl games where people were getting thrown out for targeting, and you've seen
Hmm.
it's just what that sport is.
Yeah,
It's just violent.
and
There's no way around it.
I heard someone, I read an ex-player, and I can't remember off the top of my head who, but they said it's the new way that these young players are being taught because there's so much fear over the head and neck injury now that they're being taught to tackle differently,
I mean, you know what though? But
which
Higgins
opens up their chest.
and Higgins was falling. He's running and diving, whatever the hell was going on there. I mean, like the one doctor for the Colts said it best. That had to be. That was like the worst lottery to win.
Right.
It was at the exact time your heart beat, the exact hit. You know what I mean? Like all at the right precise moment
Right.
to have that happen. And you know, it's just it's a violent game.
Yeah.
It's just violent. It's as violent as it gets
I heard
in team sports.
somewhere too that they said that there's only like 30 deaths caused by that exact, I
Yeah,
forget what they called it,
yeah.
when you have that blunt force trauma on the heart. There's a certain condition that your heart goes into, and only 30 deaths were attributed to that. And they said, like Little League Baseball, if a kid gets hit in just the right spot in the chest with the ball, or
There's a
in,
lot of high school kids that die this way too. You know, not a lot, but in these
yeah,
in the 30 you're talking about. I don't know though. You know, the way they teach them to hit, you got. I mean, like I said, that was just such a terrible, horrible accident like that. You just can't even imagine. Dominic Cianchetti says, a good friend, what last night showed was that even as we have differences, opinions from sports, politics, etc., is that when situations arise like this, they come together and love the picture of the Bills and Bengals coach together. Yeah, I mean those two guys. I mean it was evident that 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 it, I don't even think I don't think there was no way we were playing anything.
no,
Even if you'd have found out, oh, he's coherent, it just wasn't going to happen.
no.
Not after those kinds of things happen on the field of what
Yeah.
happened.
Well,
We're gonna,
Ryan Clark said it. He
yeah,
said, when your teammates see you the way that
they saw him,
they
yeah,
saw
Hamlin.
him, they don't want to just hear you're okay. They want to see you. They want to hear your voice. They want to,
Yeah, Ryan Clark was it was bad
yeah.
for him.
And he said he had to sit through days of teammates coming in and crying
Yeah.
because they were so thankful that he was okay.
So I think we're gonna not take a break tonight. We're just gonna keep going.
Okay.
Um, because then I was thinking about it in my life, your life, everyone's life, like in your own life. Um, that was a horrible thing we witnessed, and thankfully there was enough doctors on hand. There was defibrillators and stuff. You know, where you work, where you go to eat for dinner, restaurants, somewhere, you got to start making sure that you want a defibrillator there.
Yes.
If you work at a place that doesn't have a defibrillator, ask them to get a defibrillator because there was a place I worked at that claimed they had one, but they didn't, and they wouldn't get one. Or it was they're think about it. They're probably like $1,400, maybe even some are even a little less. I think there's different ranges, and you can get grants for them through government and stuff. But if you have the ability to have one of those, you should have
Yeah.
one.
Oh
No,
my God.
I
Yeah.
mean anywhere,
Yes.
whether
In your
it's in
home.
your home, in your wherever, and learn how to use it because it's saved his life last night.
It did.
Um,
It absolutely
and
did. And if, and obviously everybody's hoping and praying that there's no brain damage, that there's
right,
no anything like that. If that is the case, and he comes out okay, the reason is the quick action of the medical personnel that was there, and the ambulance crew that was brought onto the field, and that the presence of the defibrillator.
yeah, and so many places don't have it.
No.
If your workplace, remember, if man, you got a workplace. Let's say there's some of us that used to work in factories and stuff, or you worked in wherever. It doesn't even that, but you got people coming and going. You got things happening. I said it back then. It's just a matter of time. It's not
Right.
if, it's when.
Right. Yeah.
And you should really, really, really make sure your workplace has one. And if they don't, ask them to get one and see why they can't. Because then once you bring it, then you have to have classes, and it's
And
The Red Cross does them for free.
right,
So
wasn't the problem at the factory that they had to have one person on each shift that knew how to use it, and that
maybe
was too much for
No,
them to handle?
I think it was more the money.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to pay the money to get it. They claimed they had one, and if there was one in the building, it was probably about five. Who knows how many buildings? By the time you got to it, it wouldn't work. But I think a defibrillator is something that last night really struck me because I used to go through. It was about 10 years ago when I used to go crazy about that. And so I just was not really it just dawned on me you just need to have it. You got to have it in your workplace. You might not be able to afford it in your home, but please you got to look. I'll tell you right now, there's no excuse to not
Yeah.
have it. Hi Stacy. I was just trying. I think as a caught me off guard. I was reading a little bit of that. The other thing that came to mind was how the hell? Hey Burdette, how's it going, buddy? Just talking. The show's basically about what happened last night in that football game, um, and how it and how hey Stacy and
Hi,
um
Stacy. Hey, Burdette.
how it just kind of comes into our own lives when you think about it. Because as fans, fans, the hell with fans. I mean, really. I mean, some fans do the stupid. I mean, you heard what Ryan Clark said. You got idiots that are yelling and screaming and calling people worthless because their
Hmm.
fantasy football team or because someone's wearing a different color. You watch morons in the crowd fight. It makes no sense.
You know what? Can I point out though? Can we show that same respect to our um tops cashier and our bank teller and our mailman and our nurse and like
Yeah, I mean, what is it that we can control in your own community?
right,
Like, I, that's why I say if I'm working, I don't. If I'm working for somebody, it's different. If I'm working in a place that employs more than 10 people, maybe even less, I don't know. You want them to have a defibrillator. They can. You got to have one. There's ways
right,
of getting that machine. There's ways of getting that. I remember because I had to research it for the one place I worked at. You can get government if you can't afford it grants to get you the defibrillator.
right.
If you got that and you don't have one, you're putting people at risk.
Yeah,
Last night, without the defibrillator, I don't know what happens there, right?
right.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? And thankfully, but I know what you mean. I mean, let's. It, it, it's so weird because they're the entertainers, though. I mean, think about how like the players or
Mm,
the singers or the whatever, the dance, whatever they are. Um, Yeah, hey Burdette. No, we were just talking about what happened last night with Hamlin and on the field, and we were talking about the use of defibrillators and how important they are to have, and how most I wish all businesses had them, or and some that can't afford it. I know I did some research one time at a place I worked that wouldn't get one, that they could get it through the county and like stuff like that. Um, but think about it. You remember how you felt when whoever it was, who was it, who died?
Glenn
Glenn
Fry.
Fry. You're very upset
I
about
was.
that. But I guess that's normal. That's normal.
Right. But
But I understand what you're going to say. I'm just saying though, that's fandom.
yes.
Fandom overtakes when not. I'm not pointing at you. It could be anyone. Okay. When Prince dies and people are weeping that never knew him, but the person that you might have got coffee from at Tim Hortons, it's just there must be a thing about human nature with that
Yeah.
because it right.
I just think like I'm just saying like let's treat it the same way. I know people aren't going to like obviously you're not going to feel that same attachment. Somebody can affect your life without you knowing them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like Glenn Fry affected my life, I feel like, without actually knowing him. Just by
And that's how these football teams are to people.
right,
Right.
sure, and all of that. But
It's all the same.
I try not to go around and treat um the person that I buy my coffee from in the morning like they're inferior
Yeah, no,
to
you're just a piece of
to
garbage.
Glenn
Yeah.
Fry,
Right.
even to somebody that I would care. If I would care just as much if that person went down in front of me.
Oh, of course. That's what I'm saying. If you're that's yes. I mean, that's what I mean. Could you imagine being in the workplace and that happened?
Right, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
let's
holy
remember
cow.
that, and
You got to
like
remember that everyone's a human being.
yes, and
The
extend those same
the people on the
courtesies.
field, the people in the stands, the guy, like you said, you know, you can't uh you just can't. You're right. I agree exactly with what you're saying. There's got to be more outpouring of things. What really matters. I think this might. I'm hoping that this does give a little some of it to it. I mean, when do they go back and start to talk about this again? I don't think they are. I don't know when. How?
Yeah,
How are you even gonna have games this weekend? I don't
right,
know. Honestly, I don't know because it's going to be hard
right,
for. I mean, it will be. They'll do it though because it's their thing. It's what they do.
right,
These players, in my mind, in my head, and what I've heard them say, that's where they need to be.
right. That's
Is
what I was
playing
saying
is playing
earlier.
game. It's
Yeah.
what they do. That's just what they do.
Hmm.
Um,
Kind of like people who tell Noelle to take a break and
yeah,
not to
yeah,
speak.
right,
No,
right.
that it's you do what's therapeutic for you. You don't.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these guys, this is what they do,
Right. This is what they've done their whole lives.
and you can't take, you wouldn't want to take that away from them. And
Now, it is a weird situation because obviously those two teams that were there to witness it
yeah,
are probably more traumatized by it than even the other 30 teams in the league.
yeah, it's got to be something. That's a real good question. I wish I could talk, and obviously I can't. I'd love to talk to a current player because that's got to hit home though
Yeah,
when you are more than it would to us
sure.
or to anything or anyone else. They they
Yes.
they do that every single. They do it in practice and they do it in preseason. They do that. That right there was nothing really. If you watch that right now, that replay, and you watch that happen, and you never saw what happens next, it was just a normal everyday that we see.
Right.
Tackle,
Right. Oh
move on.
yeah.
It
I
was
mean, well, that was the scary part was the way that he stood up, like he was just gonna and started to like adjust his helmet or something. And then the next thing you know, I mean, that's how I think that's how you could tell it wasn't an injury. I think that's how I knew.
Stacy has an interesting point here. Um, this is Stacy's. I'm gonna read it because if I put it up, it'll be too long.
Okay.
I know it's been a point of contention that they wouldn't light up the falls for rape victims, and now they lit it up for the Bills player. But he has survived, had immediate medical care, and has a chance, thank God. But where's the coloring of the falls for the 40 people who died in the blizzard? We are undervaluing ourselves and our significant role we have in society, placing emphasis on one surviving football player, then 40 blizzard victims, including 20-year-olds. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what our show's about today,
Yeah.
in a way. I mean, you just said it straight out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of what we're, and I'm hoping, I hope that that's what this has maybe learned, Robin.
I hope so.
In a way,
There's
because
so many things. Listen, whether you believe in the power of prayer or you don't,
right,
there there's things that can actively be done besides praying in certain circumstances. when you're talking about things that are happening in your own communities, you
Sure.
know, there's things that if we put all this, attention and passion into, like rape and child sex trafficking and things
All
that
that stuff.
that
Yeah.
we talk about every Monday night, if we put half this much into those things, imagine
Listen,
imagine how much we would get
mhm.
done.
Every Monday night we do it because we don't want it to ever stop. We don't want the noise to go away,
Right.
basically. But like, I'm guilty of falling into the trap.
Sure, we all are.
Um, well, God, like I said, I spent my entire life, and maybe it was a defense mechanism, maybe I don't know what the hell it was, but since a little kid, this is all that mattered to me. I mean, I do obviously go to school, blah blah blah, but the games, watching this stuff,
Right.
I'm never going to be a part of them. I knew early on when the guy told me don't quit my day job
Yes.
when I was playing t-ball that I wasn't going to be ever be a professional athlete, but
Right.
I really like it a lot. Um, Kind of makes me sick when people take it, it does get taken way too far. Um, it's that's why this really hit across this. Maybe it was for me more than anyone else. It hit like a cross, like almost like a train tracks met each other last night for me watching it.
Yeah.
It was really like, I mean, I'm not a Bills fan, but who cares? And but that was just something that I could care. I've never really felt that way.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
That yeah, no, and I've seen a lot of bad things happen, which I really feel sad for like I'm an idiot. I feel sad that I didn't have enough brain power. Like all the things we mentioned, John mentioned, Nate, others mentioned things that happened,
Yeah.
and it didn't. And maybe it's because, oh hey, Noel's here. Hey Noel.
Hey, Noel.
Maybe it's because, like I said, it's the stage. It was the big stage.
Hmm.
Uh, but like it just doesn't mean anything anymore, does it? I mean,
No.
it's what Ryan Clark perfectly. I hope everyone sees it. Maybe you know what I'll do is I'm gonna put it, if you care, I'll put it on our thing, on
Yes.
our page, because he says what it is. I mean, it's entertainment and it's their life that they are risking, and he said he knows they're risking it. Everyone knows. Everyone that signs on knows what the risks
Right.
are. But it does not mean you were right what you said, and what Stacy said there was right too. I mean, don't undervalue your. I guess that's a good way to put it. Don't
Yeah.
undervalue yourself,
Yeah. Or
um,
the people
or the
or
people
the
around you, your people around you. Yeah,
yeah, and don't undervalue what you do for the people around you. Like, you might say, "Oh, I'm not going to be nice to the person that serves my coffee. They're not nice to me." Well, maybe they're not nice because you don't
yeah.
know why, and you just made them have an awful day because
Look
you
at
weren't nice.
if
And,
yeah,
and it's just like there's just such simple stuff that we can do at home and our own
yeah. I
communities.
mean, we've got some serious issues in this community that are dangers, right? We
Yeah.
talk about D'Angelo, a danger to everyone that
Yeah,
he
and
stays
it
on the loose.
but if I got on here and said, you know what, guess what's happening in Los Angeles, California, people would be like, what the fuck? Come on. I want to do something. I'm outraged. Let me.
and that all has to do with what we talked about one time in politics. It's easy to yell at Washington, D.C. It's tougher to yell at Main Street, the City Hall,
Right.
or your local whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little tougher than yelling at things that no one hears, because when they hear, they yell back.
Right.
And this here that's a perfect example. Like, it's easier to get all revved up over LA, or whatever.
Right.
I mean, Grand Island is happening right in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening now in real time, and they don't want to pick up on it. D'Angelo's happening right now in real time as
Right.
we speak.
As we
We
speak, he's
actually
wandering
we
around doing
actually
God knows
know
what.
too. And it's just not. Noel says they always want to do something when it's not happening here. When it comes time to be tough, people don't want to be tough.
Right.
There's a lot of problems with, and this is where we probably, you guys all on the side here watching too, that comment and watch our shows, and we're all together, and I hope you come on and be guests. Um, None of us give a darn anymore about offending a friend,
No,
about
yeah.
offending this one or offending that one. If it's wrong, it's wrong. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter. There's no more of that.
That could be the name of our network, the Offend a Friend Network.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, how many people will think, "Oh, I can't. That's what you call dad's, uncle's, mother's brother," and then
Right.
and then
Well,
it's lights out.
I guess that's what my point was. Like, we have all this empathy and all this
They're
compassion in us that you see when something like what happens last night happens, and everybody's saying, "Oh my God, can you believe his mother's in the stand?" And you think about it as a mother, and it brings tears to everyone's eyes. But and mine too. Like I
all of
said,
ours. Yeah.
I was
Yes.
very stressed out
Yeah.
about
I
him.
think you've had anxiety all day over it.
Yeah, all day over it. But why isn't anyone saying, Noelle's poor mother has PTSD because she's dealing with Noelle's PTSD, and Noelle's father,
Yeah.
hasn't killed this motherfucker that's running loose yet, even though he was in the courthouse with them. And where's all that empathy when it's right here where we can do something?
Yeah. No, I know. The community at large is silent. I mean, we get people that do, and that's not. I don't want to. No one has to say, "Oh, I do." I know. We know the ones that do, and we see you all the time. And Noel, Noel sees you all the time. We see it, but it's like it's you got to wake up the rest.
Right. Like, I just
They
wish,
woke up last night for that. No, I understand what you're
I guess
saying,
that's
not
what.
to diminish it
Right. Maybe the
in any
connection
way.
isn't making sense, but I wish, I wish everybody would have uh stop sharing the Niagara action as their profile picture, just like they're doing for this. Of
You,
course, why not have that same outpouring of wanting things to be okay, wanting things to be right? You can make them right. You can help make them right in a situation in your own community, and people sit back and don't do it.
I can't read what Stacy said. Can you?
She said, "I'm not,
Oh, okay, maybe it's a typo.
yeah,
Hurt an animal and it's
oh
shared
yeah,
to 200 times, right?
yeah,
And we love animals too. All of us
right,
do, of course. No, it's well, there you go. That might be the way we end this podcast. People suck.
yeah."
You know,
And that's the thing. It's unfortunate because it's like, I think people suck more today than they did yesterday, because what they showed in the last 24 hours is that they're capable. They have it in them. The empathy, the care, the regard for other human life and human well-being is there, and it's there pretty much across everybody, whether you're a football fan, a Bills fan, a Bears fan, and I don't give a shit fan, whatever, that it's there. Now we just have to get it everywhere. That's what makes it so frustrating. That's what makes people suck more, because if you can do it, then why not do it when you can affect it?
yeah, no, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, there's no, you're right. I mean,
Do something about it. Stop do something.
because that's the thing. I don't understand. We said this last night, and like I said earlier in this podcast, there's a reason why Mondays are the way Mondays are. Oh, here's a good point by Burdett. They donate millions and millions for a millionaire, but $0 for a poor man.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic, Robin just nailed it. Yes, she did. She did. It just shows they have sympathy when they want to have sympathy. Right. And it's easy when it's not in your face.
or
Like it's
when there's
either
or when it's popular and there's nothing you can
no,
do about it. Prayers
no,
for
but
the
it's
play, and
what I'm
don't get me
saying
wrong,
is,
I'm not diminishing again the prayers. Yes, the power of prayer, if you believe in it, I'm sure is a
but
very powerful thing.
Robin,
But
what I'm trying to tell, what I'm saying too is you cannot. It's because like if they heard when they hear D'Angelo's story on TikTok, everyone's outraged.
right,
The whole place is like, what the fuck? What's going on? What? Here, go out and ask. Let's do it. We're gonna do it. 10 people and see what the hell they say to us. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
What are they gonna say? Oh God, he was my lawyer. Oh Jesus, right away. Like you explain who this person is and see where we go. Nothing.
right.
They won't say one word. It'll be
But
dead
that,
silent.
but don't people see how that would be like me saying I'm a Chicago Bears fan? So what the fuck difference does it make to me?
Well, it is that, but it's a little. But I think it's even worse though. But I think it's even worse because you're being it. It's because you can't handle. Like, how is it? Like, if my brother does something, what am I supposed to do about it? What am I supposed to do? Right? If my here, believe me, I'll finish my thought. Maybe if the victims were football players, we'd see more outrage. I honestly give up explaining this shit to people. Yeah,
Yeah.
been doing it for 3 years. What I'm saying is the like if your brother, your mother, your grandmother, do you have the guts and the balls to say it like it is if they're the ones that are fucked up? You see
If
what
you
I mean?
don't, then you don't care about what you're talking about and you should shut up.
Right. But that's like 95%.
Right. So they should shut up.
Yeah.
They should get off of Facebook. They should shut up.
No, they can't get
Well, yeah,
Facebook's
except
the
for
worst thing you know
they
what?
should just come on Facebook to watch
Facebook is a pain in the
Monday,
ass, and
Tuesday,
here I am
Friday, and
on
Saturday.
Facebook doing this, and then I want to. I don't know. I don't know. As far as the falls being lit up, I mean, you know, that's just that's they do that, and I don't even know. I honestly, I think it's all for themselves. It's for their own right
It's
because
funny how quick they were able to do that too. When I mean, they, as far as I know, April usually comes somewhere between March and May
yeah, we're
every
gonna
year.
find out because we're coming towards April and see what happens. That'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
if they light it up and maybe do something and try to have a little bit of a day for um, survivors, but guessing there won't be.
Maybe the mayor can dance out in his Bills hat.
Yeah, that guy, Bill's hat. He never liked them.
He hates the Bills.
I know.
So do I, but at least I say it. I'm not going to come dancing out in a Bills
Yeah,
hat.
right.
Stop. It's just the epitome of who he is. He's just
No,
so
no,
phony.
that's what I said on Facebook that time. I mean, this is like I know to some it probably means nothing,
Right,
but if you knew him, you know what that is.
right.
Like if you knew this guy, really knew him, you know that
Yeah, that,
that's the most unbelievable thing you ever seen.
yeah,
Um, no, I know. Anyhow, I know that I'm glad to hear that the 24-year-old man and it is in stable condition.
yes,
That is great to hear.
that is great.
That's the best news of the day for
Yes,
for
for
that
sure.
thing.
And
Um,
that if he had to be unfortunate enough to have this happen, that he's in a city where they have top-notch medical care.
and and his team and then the other team, both teams have everything you could want.
Yeah,
Um, you know, that's why I said what I said earlier about the defibrillators. You got to have them. If you don't
yes,
have them in your workplace, demand them or something. You got to get them because it'll save your life. Burdette talked about it just a little bit ago. Um, yeah, but you're right, all of you. I mean, if you can't see the compare, and that's why I was this whole thing was going to be about our community. That's why it has to start on the field there because and sometimes these things do start awareness. I hope
mm,
of things
yeah,
that makes sense to some people. I hope, um, because you'd have to be, if anyone didn't, I don't care if you like football, you like nothing, you don't like anything, you just like the paint. You can understand what that and the mother and the father, the little boy, the brother,
Right.
all that. It has to. You have to be able to. But I hope. Let's see. On the bright side, you're right. Hopefully, this motivates people to get AEDs. Yeah, we always argued. I argued with those people where I used to work. Like you wouldn't
Oh
believe
God.
to get one where we're at a 24-hour place factory in and out, and they wouldn't get it because they said it was too expensive.
People busting their ass in there too, ready to have a heart attack.
Oh yeah, and not some of the greatest. Like think about it, we don't have, thank goodness, Damar Hamlin's in like probably one of the top 2% of people in physical shape.
Oh God.
We had the complete opposite.
Yeah,
we had
the bottom
yeah,
2%.
we had people just about one step away, and you were not having that and refusing it. So hopefully this motivates people, like Stacy says, to get defibrillators. If you can't afford, I understand they're expensive, but you got to want them in your workplace because you spend more time in workplace sometimes than you do at home,
Right.
right? You're more than half your life is at work. So, anyways, we should probably get going, Robin. We went without commercials tonight.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought, like I said, I know you did. I know you had anxiety over it. I read it when because it's too much. It is tough to see.
I woke up this morning and
Feeling shook. I know you did. I know. You were shook. And I think everyone was. And then I want everyone to get shook because in your own place, here we go. Hold on, see what Dominic says before we go. What people need to realize is that the best way to change something is getting out there and helping people like Noel, or even maybe just show appreciation and tipping the person that serves you coffee.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm a big proponent of that because you have no idea what that person that's serving you coffee is going through. You don't know if they're supporting a family.
I want to
You don't
get
know if
tipped when
they're.
I'm doing the goddamn. How about Instacart? Tip
Yeah,
me.
well,
No,
that's
I'm
what
just
I
joking. I'm
mean.
just joking.
Because
I'm joking. Please.
if you live like
No,
regular
you could say
people,
you could
how
really,
do you not understand
right.
how a little gesture goes a long
Yeah,
way
real long. Yeah. Yep.
in making a difference to people?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And if everybody just did a little gesture, nobody would ever have to make big gestures and go hugely out of their way to help people. We could all just help each other.
Right.
I mean, it seems so easy. I mean, I guess I'm guilty of it too, but
Yeah, we're all guilty of it, but at some point if we could all, sometimes though it'd be nice if maybe when you got a day, you feel like you need a day off, the next person does it. You know what I
right.
mean? Like there's just everyone, I don't know. A lot of stuff here though in our own little community, Grand Island, is disturbing what's happening. Don't understand
Yeah.
why I just can't believe it. D'Angelo, I haven't understood for 3 years. Still going on.
Mm.
He's freer than me because, like I said last night, he's probably got more money than I do, so I'm sure he can go do whatever he wants.
And all the influence and power.
And all the stuff happening. Okay, we just had someone got murdered already, and it's not even the New Year's not
Oh,
that soon.
real quick,
Yeah.
just again the Niagara action, the story that he
Oh,
shared.
about the Bills. Yeah,
Yeah,
he stole that. I
about
put it out there. He got that from the marketing agent of Damar Hamlin, who put that out on his own Twitter page.
right
And he did all, you know what he did with it? He turned it into a Bills, I can't remember how he put it.
a bill source.
A Bill source basically like told him. I'm trying to make like the Bill source told him.
Yeah, and then he said the whole team was in Cincinnati, which they're not.
It was a whole different. Yeah, it was only a couple that stayed. This and
Yeah,
that, whatever. But yeah, he put that out there last night.
so
Instantly, right on top of it, and doing that stuff, and
so
please,
there. If you don't care that he rapes people, he exploited this tragedy. Care
again,
about that.
he exploits every
I
tragedy.
know he does, but this one people seem to get. So he exploited it. Be
Yeah,
mad.
lied right there again.
Unfollow the page.
Yes, please. It's got 115,000 followers.
It should be going in.
He's bought a lot, so he'll always have high amounts. But if you live here, you can't be a part of that.
Yeah.
You got to get out. You got to get out now. All right, just like me, I got to get out now. Robin, great show.
Thank you, everyone.
And on Friday, Spitball and Sports Podcast with me and Scott Taggart. I'm sure we'll talk more a little bit about this. I don't know how we'll even deal with that. That'll be interesting to see what goes on. And then Saturday, Falls Count Anywhere with Krista Carlo and Charlie Turner's back from a
Yes.
little 2 week vacation, and they'll be back. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Robin Live. Robin?
Yes, thank you, everyone. Try to have a better night than, well, for those of you that were watching Monday Night Football, hopefully tonight's a better night, and hopefully Stable
Yeah,
turns into, you know,
breathing on his own.
breathing on his own, turns into, living a normal life again.
Yep. Take care, everybody.